We're live. Hello, happy Friday. I can't believe it's October. Like, on one hand, the year's gone quickly, but on the other hand, I'm not mad about it because personally, I'm not a fan of 2025 for myself. But regardless, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining me from in the world. I'm so glad to have you with me. Whether you're live or on the replay, thank you so much for giving me some of your time. And what a week. What a week. I mean, we know Howie Claus, aka Howard Chan, when InArt's going to have an event or do a thing, Howard be dropping announcements, releases. He wants your heart, mind, and your wallet. And my goodness, this week started out big with how many releases? And then Hot Toys being at Wonderfest, I feel like that's not a very typical thing for them. I feel like they more do ACGHK. But they were at Wonderfest, as was InArt. So I have done my best to curate photos. I'll be really honest. I'm not going to talk about everything super in depth because I feel like it will be a 24-hour stream and I'm already feeling like I can't brain today. My brain is mush. So apologies if I skip over something that you're interested in or it's only a light touch. As I said, I'm doing my best and I have to be honest. Everyone's sharing these photos and I don't know where they're from, and it really annoys me because I like to credit the photos and people are sharing photos and it's the same photos and they can't all be their photos. So I've done my best to try to find photos that show things in the best light. So as I said, we'll do our best. There's so much to talk about. There's already quite a few people in the chat, which I do appreciate. So let's go through our usual salutations before we then go into the newsy news because I don't know how long this is going to go for. This could be long or super quick because you know that I know that you know that I don't watch all the things. I like to think it's part of my charm, but it may just be something that makes people hate me. It's fine. Carlos, my hype man, first in the comments. Good morning, Helen and chat. Sending my usual salutations from a very sunny and 72-degree New Jersey. To which our weekends will be in the 80s. InArt has gone and showed off their Wonder figure pre-orders, and lo and behold, we have Reeve Superman along with Clark Kent. My biggest question is, will Hot Toys come out swinging with their revamped 2.0 version? Helen, what are your Tim Tams the way? I'm a bit confused by that last bit. Look, I too have been wondering about the Hot Toys Christopher Reeve Superman. That was the rumor around ACGHK, was that they were going to try to steal a little bit of InArt's thunder and show a Christopher Reeve Superman. And I think there was even talk of a Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. Didn't happen. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, look, some interesting things at Wonderfest. I don't know if there was anything from InArt that surprised me. I think it was definitely nice to get some updates. Actually, no. Where's the Game of Thrones stuff that InArt keeps talking about? Like, it can't just be me that remembers on their last stream. They talked about, didn't they say something like Game of Thrones was going to be like their Star Wars or like their anchor franchise? And I mean, if they showed anything, I certainly haven't seen any photos of it. So this is what gets me. Like, we saw that Daenerys, I feel like that was Wonderfest 2023 when we first saw that Christopher Reeve Superman. Still nothing. So we'll see. We've got a lot of InArt things to talk about. I think this stream's going to be pretty InArt dominant. Just because they had the most, I guess, sort of new things. I didn't really want to go over like the Fractal Iron Man and the Aliens versus Avengers Spider-Man and those exclusives that we talked about 2 weeks ago that got released. I didn't want to rehash them because we've just seen them and there's so many other things to talk about. So apologies, I'm not going there today. Otherwise I'll be here forever. Toy Collector, happy Friday, everyone. What a week for announcements. Happy Harley for me and looking forward to that InArt Catwoman. You have some feelings about that Catwoman. Going to watch the replay later today. Have a great stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jaron's here. So I wonder if Darth Helen Who's Darth Helen? Jelly of the new Anakin, since he gets to float around on the lava droid for once he has the high ground. I don't know what that means. I mean Darth Allison. I cannot get the name right. Anyway, Helen, I hope you're doing great. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure you coined me as Allison, which morphed into Darth Allison. So, I don't know where Allison is from. Who is Allison? Why is Allison? When is Allison? What is Allison? I don't know where Allison came from. AJ's here. Hello, friends. Just jumping in to say a quick hi and send well wishes to everyone here. Well, AJ, hello, and well wishes for you and Miss Ashley. Big wedding on the weekend. I hope the day is perfect, amazing, and I hope it's the start of a very happily ever after for the two of you. So all the best to you and Ashley for your big day. Can't wait to see the photos. Valkyrie's here as well. Good evening, Helen. Good morning to you, I think. I think you're on the West Coast. Dark Knight Archives is here. Hi, Helen. Everyone in the chat, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends. Let's go. I love that other people do the good morning, afternoon, evening, because it's inclusive. It's inclusive. JB's here. Afternoon, Judgment Day. Oh, Judgment Day for who? For me? For a company? For Shuri? I hope not Shuri. She's so cute. Deadpool Red Suits here. Hello, Helen. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to you. Anthony Stanfield's here as well. Hello, everyone. I just finished watching Pennyworth. Interesting to see the pre-Batman Alfred story. Paloma Faith, I think that's the name. Was great in it too. I never saw that series. How was it? Was it good? Do you recommend watching it? I feel I'm trying to remember when that came out, but I feel like it was not that long after Gotham. And I had mixed feelings about Gotham. It had highs, it had lows. But I put that in the same bracket as that Continental show from John Wick. I'm like, I want to watch it. I don't know that I've really heard necessarily much about it. Will I enjoy it? But also, I am the worst at finding time to see things. So I still need to catch up on. I haven't watched any of Peacemaker season 2. So I'm like, it's the worst because everyone keeps dropping all these spoilers. And I'm like, well, that's on me for not being up to date. So that is my life. Deadpool Red Suit says the InArt Hot Toys Endo timing is uncanny. The InArt Endo looks possibly better than the Hot Toys Endo. Yeah, the InArt Terminator stuff actually probably was the surprise for me from them. I think it's quite interesting with InArt. I know I've been a little bit critical about some of their licenses and how stuff is quite old and been done. And I'm interested to see what the response from people will be for those figures, because Hot Toys has obviously done the Terminator 2 clean and battle damage T800. InArt's doing, I think it's the Terminator 1 version. There's 2 endoskeletons there. I don't know how people are going to be swayed with that. So I am keen to see, will people just see them as complementary figures? Will people maybe not feel as inclined? I feel like Terminator 2 is the movie that gets talked about most. So I don't know if it's a case of most collectors would just want one, or is it the kind of franchise where people are like, no, I want them all. It will be interesting to see how that all goes. Dr. No is here. Hi, Shuri and Helen. Just wanted to say I appreciate your streams. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for coming to hang out. Little Shuri will hopefully come. I was on Costa's stream, Pop Culture Living Room. I was on Points of Articulation, which is like a game show. I love it because it's very short and sharp, and I was able to do that before I went to work. And Shuri made some cameos. She walked right in front of me on the screen, and I was like, you never do that in my stream. She used to do it in Collectors Unite, and I laughed because she'd always stop here and have her tail in front of my face, and she did that on Points of Articulation, and I was like, what is going on with you, Shuri? She was like rolling around. She was having the time of her life. I don't know where she is now. Hopefully she'll join us at some point. AJ says, thank you, you're welcome. I can see there's people wishing you well in the chat as well, which is awesome. Mike's here. Hey, everyone. Looks like the drought has ended. InArt has decided to unload on us as well. Thoughts on the Wonder Woman head sculpt? Is it me, or does it look better, or just wishful thinking? No, I agree with you, Mike. My biggest takeaway from that Wonder Woman figure is I feel like the hair looks better. I don't know that they've made any changes to the sculpt, but the hair certainly doesn't look as sort of flat and greasy as it did. Like, it still has quite a wet look to it, but it feels like it has more volume. And this is where it was tricky because InArt didn't really post any photos of their stuff. They posted a video, so I tried to get like a screen cap of the Wonder Woman figure so we could talk about it. So that was the hard thing because I like to have both the like full photo of the figure and then some close-ups, but all I'll say is I did my best with the photos. It was such a mixed bag. But yeah, I definitely feel like the hair has improved. I think the likeness is still not there for me. Okay, I know some things. Deadpool Red Suits agreeing that T2 is greater than T1. I've never even seen T1, but T2 too many times to count. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen T1. I feel like T2 I've seen. I don't have the big... Oh, hello! I wish they could hear your cute meows. We were just talking about you. I had grievances. Did you know that? Yeah, I had grievances, pussycat. God, Helen, was Shuri inspecting the John Wick 4 diorama set from 1/6 kit? Look, I know you want me to live unbox that. That would be a recipe for disaster. I know, Shuri, you're right to agree with me. Look at her, my little monkey. Look at that magnificent tail. So I got 2 of the 3 diorama pieces. Australia Post did me wrong because they come separately. And I understand why, because each of the boxes for that diorama is like the size of a figure box. I'm not exaggerating. I put a Hot Toys shipper box next to this shipper box, and the diorama one was actually a little bit bigger. So I do not have space to do that. I also don't have all 3 of them. So 2 of them arrived yesterday. 1 of them arrived today, but sadly I did not get a chance to go to the post office to get the 3rd piece today. But I would not have room to unbox that. So I will do my best to do a video on that this weekend. The 2 pieces I have, I really like. I think they look super cool. I'm just bummed that I haven't sorted out my display space, so I don't even know where I'm going to put them. But yeah, there's a lot to like about them. So funnily enough, I got parts A and C. So part B is the one I need to pick up tomorrow. And as I said, I will do my best to get a video out this weekend. But yeah, Shuri did come to inspect. But yeah, as I say, I did think of you, and I was just like, I just don't have a lot of room here on my desk. And I really feel like at some point I need to get a better setup for the live unboxings. Like, I know I need to talk to Costa, because I know when Costa does his live builds, he has like an overhead camera, because then I could use more of my desk space. So I need to look into that. But yeah, as I said, it's looking good so far, and I will, if not a video, at a minimum photos, but I feel confident that I could do a quick video about it. So I will, as I said, I'll try to do that this weekend. Raymond's here. Hi, Helen. Good afternoon to you. Love all the stuff from Wonder Festival. I thought, although no idea yet which endoskeleton to get. Wait for. I know, like Terminator fans are like living the dream at the moment. So, it is even with the Hot Toys, like do you want the clean or the battle damaged T2, T800, and with the endoskeletons. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to learn more about the actual materials used. I think there was some talk of die-cast for the Hot Toys figure, but is that just going to be the joints? Is part of the figure going to be die-cast? Because I think that could be a bit of a something that sways collectors. Like, I think if InArt came out and said ours is fully die-cast, I could see a lot of people going for that. I don't know, but yeah, I want to see more. And this was the hard thing because even with the InArt display at Wonderfest, the figures didn't really have their own space. So sometimes there weren't always clear pictures of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough decision. It's like I spent yesterday trying to decide if I wanted to get the Artisan John Wick or not because I was stunned that I woke up the next morning because I think that dropped on Sideshow at like midnight for me. And it was still available because I had someone message me going, "Oh, are you getting the Artisan?" I said, "Well, I don't have access to it." And they're like, "Oh, no, it's on Sideshow." And I was like, "But they don't ship Artisans to Australia." And they're like, "No, it's just if there's batteries, like you could get this." So I was stunned because most of the day, I think it was Thursday for me, I could have got that. And that was a real thing I debated about. So I understand choices can be difficult. Iron King is there, Helen. 1/12 figure looks great. So much Batman. Yeah, there was a lot of 12th scale stuff shown, and I've not included it just because I would be here forever. It's quite interesting. I haven't usually bought a lot of 12th scale stuff in my life. I did have some Arrow 12th scale figures because I loved that show and it was so under merchandised. And I got them, but I can see the appeal from a space perspective, but I'm kind of fortunate that I have space. So I feel like 6 scale and the quarter scales are probably a bit more my cup of tea. Collection Obsession is here. Hi, Helen. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. JB says T1 is the OG. T2 was a family movie. Oh, okay. Helen, I had a rough week at work. I need this. Make the unboxing happen, please. It's so not going to happen. I'm so sorry. The space and like they're not even in this room. So I'm sorry. I will do a video. I promise you, I will do a video. Dark Knight Archive says the Terminator T800 and Endoskeleton from InArt is a must-have for me. I did pre-order the Hot Toys Endoskeleton, use your words, and Artisan John Wick and Harley Quinn. That's an expensive week. I also have lots of opinions about that Harley Quinn. We'll get to that. Get all endoskeletons is the answer. Look, I mean, you do you. If you need all the endoskeletons, then get them. Oh, InArt is apparently fully die-cast. Well, I can see that being something that would be a big tick in the box for collectors. So that's interesting to know. Raymond says, I have the clean Hot Toys T800 already in. Battle Damaged also pre-ordered, but that will take a few months to get here. I definitely want an endoskeleton. Didn't expect InArt to show one. No, me neither. I feel like there's so many licenses they've kind of talked about, but because it's been a couple of years, like I never really know how much stock to take in it because I know in the early days they talked about things like Black Adam and Mira and all that, and that stuff's never happened. And even the Game of Thrones, I feel like they've talked about it for so long, but where is it? So I feel like it's a bit like that with them. Like they might drop the names, but then you're like, but when are we going to see stuff? And I feel like the stuff they've talked about we'd like to, or I'm forgetting half the stuff they've probably talked about over the years. Collection Obsession says, with InArt now having the Terminator license, maybe we'll finally get a Kyle Reese and John Connor figure as they are clearly fine making child movie characters. Yeah, I could see a lot of people wanting the John Connor. I could see that being popular. Good old Edward Furlong. Dark Knight Archive says the InArt Christopher Reeve Superman is looking great. I hope it's a Superman Clark Kent 2-pack. I've been waiting for a Reeve Superman for a while, so it's a must-have for me. Yeah, I mean, I would assume it would be one of those choose your own adventure type things where it's either Superman on its own or a 2-pack. But I do think there's been some improvement in that figure. I think this is where I wish they'd had an update on Daenerys because I think that would have been a nice litmus test to see how far they have come because I do remember the Reeve Superman, people didn't love it. And I should have included some photos of the old version, but I definitely felt like there was improvements. With the body, I feel like it had some funkiness to the body last time. So I can see a lot of people, wanting to have different SKUs with that. So hopefully they do it. Deadpool Red Suit says, Helen, you have to watch the Terminator 1984. It's a classic. It's the film that started all the movies. Relentless, Arnold at his best, along with Commando. Look, the list of things people tell me to watch is very long, and I'm at peace with the fact that there's too much content in this world, and I will never get to see all the things. So maybe one day. As I say, there's so many things I feel like I actually do want to see, and I just don't get time to see them. So I really want to see the first Alien movie. I really want to see that. I need to make time to do that. Iron King Helen, don't you ever think Hot Toys and InArt seem to bring out figures from the same IPs over and over again, and people keep buying them with the 2.0s, 3.0s, and 4.0s ever end? Yeah, I do get a little bit tired of it being a sort of one-upping each other. I personally, I know there's a lot of people excited for things like the BVS figures. I'm kind of ready to look at that next stage of the DCU and different actors and different movies and things like that. And that's where I thought something like Game of Thrones could have been quite intriguing, because I think 3-0, look, some of those figures are hit and miss, but also I think there's a lot of big characters that didn't get the figure treatment. I still think there's probably a lot of love for some of those characters from the earlier seasons that we didn't get. So yeah, I am a bit like that, and this is where I do get a bit frustrated with some of the picks that they have done. I think there's so many interesting IPs out there, or there's so many things that haven't been done that could be explored. So I am like, I'll be honest, if they come out with like a bank robber Joker, I don't know, I will yell, because I'm just like, I know they're limited by licenses, but I feel like there's still different things that they could do. I've said it a million times, like do a nurse Joker, do a police Joker. They're not wanting to do John Wick, I think, is a bit crazy. I think, before this Chapter 1 came out, which is an amazing figure, I think there would have been a really great opportunity for them to jump in and do a really good John Wick figure. So yeah, I do get a bit like that, and I felt that way very much when J&D came into it as well, and it was like, here's stuff everyone's done. And granted, the Two-Face is definitely to a better standard, but yeah, I've literally just bought an InArt Joker and a Hot Toys Joker. I don't really want to buy a J&D Joker. So yeah, I get that. And that's why when things like Wednesday get announced, as much as that is not for me, I do like that. I'm like, cool, we're doing something different kind of characters, different kind of IPs. I think it just keeps things a bit fresh and interesting. Maybe that's just me. It's Batwoman's here. Happy Friday, Helen, Shuri, the Inspector, and everyone. Yeah, little Shuri. She had fun. Keith Lee, those boxes on my Instagram account, that was the diorama boxes. They're as big as Shuri. Shuri is the director of security of my house and my life. She needs to inspect everything. Bless her little heart. So I'm not going to count Hot Toys out yet when it comes to a Sarah Connor from T2, but I got to admit, I'd love to see InArt take a crack at a T2 Sarah. The ponytail and bangs look such a good look for her. Yeah, look, InArt typically has done a pretty good job with the rooted hair. I mean, I don't think either Artisan or InArt has been 100% perfect. I don't think anything can be. But I do think they've done, they've done a really good job with the rooted hair. So, and I think now, with the Wonder Woman, they've obviously now got a little bit of experience with like seamless bodies as well. I'm picturing like the tank top look. So I think that would be quite cool. InArt only has the T1 license currently, so no Teenage John Connor. Kyle Reese, however, would be awesome. I'd even take a T1 Sarah Connor from the end of the movie. Oh, interesting. Okay, just from that one. Raymond says, standout for me was the InArt BVS Batman, though. Don't need the Affleck sculpt, but the body proportion, cal accuracy is so much better than Hot Toys. I'm glad I waited for InArt on this one. I thought it was so hilarious that someone took the Hot Toys figure to the convention and held it up and took photos. I wish I knew who took those photos because you're a legend. And I have them in my slide presentation, but I did think that was hilarious that they were like holding up the Hot Toys parts against the InArt display. So I've got them in the slides. Don't worry, Helen, I haven't seen any of the Alien series either. Don't tell anyone. That's just between you and me. You and me and around 40 of our closest internet friends. Jaron says, just watched Arnold in The Running Man. Pure one line of glory. I mean, you only get lines like Sub-Zero now, Plane Zero. Arnie saying as he killed an evil stalker skater man who was hunting him. Oh, I feel like I don't even know what this movie is. No one's shocked. Anthony Stanfield says, I don't know why I still gasp in horror every time Helen mentions a classic film she hasn't seen. Look, if I listed every classic movie I hadn't seen, like, people would be truly offended. Like, it's a long and distinguished list. Star Wars is just the tip of the iceberg. Since I saw you last Friday, Miss Helen, I got my 21-inch Hot Toys Venom. Fell and broke. Oh, my God. So I'm having to see if I can budget in the Comic Wonder place. Oh, my goodness. That's not fun. I'm sorry that it fell and broke. I'm very sorry. Thank you, Dark Knight Archives. Don't forget to hit the like button, everyone. It's free. I appreciate it. Shuri appreciates it. There's like 40-something people here. I don't know how many likes I have. Hopefully, maybe somewhere near 40. But we're going to dive into the newsy news. And you know, when we dive into the newsy news, I need to give a quick little PSA. One Man's Hobby / William Wang. This is not a place to be buying from in 2025. He's been missing since May 11th. Where is he? Don't know. Is he going to deliver on your figure? Probably not. Is his website up and still taking pre-orders and deposits? Sadly, yes. If you have recently got something on this website, please do a chargeback because you are 99.9% not getting what you've purchased. I will keep doing this until that website is no longer live because people need to know. People need to know. Valkyrie, that's incredibly kind. Valkyrie with the $4.99 super chat. Tim Tam Fun for Helen. I appreciate that. I wish I had some Tim Tams right now. I could have done with the sugar boost. I so should have drunk more coffee. I feel like this is one of those streams where I'm going to struggle to get my words out, which is probably not the best combination when you're a mumbler and have an Australian accent, but I'm going to do my best. Sharon says the movie was based on a Stephen King short story. There was a remake new version coming out in November. Yeah, I don't watch things. So God, this is how much I don't watch things. I really want to catch up on Stranger Things. I saw the first 2 series and I have not seen anything since, but I heard the last series is coming out. So now I want to rewatch it. I want to rewatch it. I thought William Wang was still in Australia. No, he claimed in his group that he went overseas to be closer to his facility in China. My understanding is he's not in Australia and hasn't been for some time. That's according to family that were answering the emails on his website at a point. That's according to people that have spoken to his ex-partner, ex-wife. So no, was once in Australia, now not in Australia. He literally has hundreds and thousands of people's dollars and is not responding to them, not delivering on product. It's incredibly frustrating, anger-inducive situation, particularly when we're coming off the back of the Toys Wonderland fiasco not that long ago. So hence, in case there's new people that come into my stream, that's why I keep this PSA in there, just to let them know that this is not a place to be buying from. And I see that with so many releases. Like, I had multiple people comment to me that they'd paid for their Artisan Black Widow through William and they're not getting it. And that is something that makes me incredibly sad. So we keep the PSA in here for now. Guys, okay. We normally do the Star Wars in 60 seconds. Helen's going to go through the releases in 60 seconds. I'm not setting a timer. I'm breezing through them. I'm really sorry if there's things you wanted me to go into more depth in. But with some of these figures, I don't know a lot about them. So I don't really know what I could add to the conversation. But if you've got thoughts or feelings or opinions you want to share about these next few figures, I'll go through them at the end of this lightning round of slides. JB says, Willy Wang about to start a one-man cult on a beach in Thailand, possibly. Look, put your theories out there. Where is he? What is he doing? I have no idea. Deadpool Redsuit says, when it comes to Hong Kong resellers, my rule includes do not pre-order, only order when it's in stock. Only place one order with one seller. It makes sense. Yeah, Deadpool Redsuit, I've only placed one Hot Toys pre-order with a reseller, and that was Artisan Bucky. I did that this year. But even though I'd bought stuff from William, like the Hot Toys I bought for him were things that were in stock, discounted. I did used to pre-order things like So-So Toys figures from him because I liked paying in Australian dollars. It was a bit cheaper. But yeah, this is the thing that gets me. There's so many people that were pre-ordering not just Hot Toys, but like expensive high-end statues and were paying him in installments and paying him direct to his bank account. And they don't really have a lot of recourse now. Like, people have dropped figures like, he owes me $6,000, $10,000, $15,000. Like, there's some huge sums of money because people built up trust. Like, I've had people come in to the stream to say, like, I knew the guy. I've been for lunch with him. I'd been to his house. Like, just didn't think this was going to happen. And we don't know how or why it's happened, but the guy's just chosen to bury his head in the sand and ignore his customers and run away. And that's just it's not a way to run a business, but it's also not what a good person does, in my opinion. Mike says, this Venom looks good, so much I wouldn't mind having, but it's not a necessity. That's interesting because I feel like there's been quite a few Venoms, and for me, I feel like when I look at this, it seems to tick a lot of the boxes of what I've heard people say has annoyed them about the movie Venoms, as far as having the spider logo on the chest. This feels like it's got that nice comic aesthetic. It's got some cool accessories. So I would have thought that this would be one that people quite liked. But then I don't know if it's a bit of oversaturation because I feel like we've had quite a few Venom figures coming in a short period of time. So I do not know. Dark Knight Archive says, a bit off topic. Did you pick up the 4K Dark Knight Trilogy anniversary set, Helen? I just received mine. It's such an amazing steelbook set. Oh no, I didn't know that was a thing. I have a Dark Knight Trilogy set in a box. That's not a box, in a case that is like the cowl, like the broken cowl. I do have that. I don't buy a lot of media anymore. I used to buy a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays, but I haven't in the longest time. But I'll have to look that up. That sounds kind of cool. Mark Akins is here. Hello, Helen. Glad to watch live. Glad to have you live, Mark. I hope you're doing well. Iron King says, rumors are William Wang went to Vegas, blew all his cash on casinos, and then woke up with the tiger in his hotel and a tattoo that says one man's hobby on his face. Well, why not? Let's add that to the list of theories as to what happened to William Wang. So, lightning round. Venom. I don't know if people are interested. Is there Venom fatigue? Maybe. Time will tell. Some kind of trooper thing. Pew pew. Have fun. Star Wars. It's great. Doctor Doom. And I think this looks really cool. I do wonder if people are buying this based purely on the comics or if some people are getting this with a view of giving it the RDJ treatment ahead of what is to come in the MCU. I didn't realize how big that diorama backdrop is. Like in the blogger photos, it's huge. It's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. But looks cool. There's a lot to like about this figure. And something I can talk about, Batman, Bruce Wayne Armory 2.0. It was quite interesting looking at these pictures. I feel like the Armory looks very much the same as the 1.0. I think the biggest difference here is that it's USB light up this time and not batteries. The suit, I'm going to guess, is very similar, if not the same, as the Dark Knight Rises Armory suit, which, if that's the case, it's a beautiful suit. So I think that's fantastic. I'm actually trying to find one loose so I can put it in my main display. But the biggest thing for me was the Bruce Wayne head sculpt. I was really keen to see what that was going to be like. I've been pretty vocal in saying don't particularly love the power pose Bruce Wayne sculpt. And this one, I don't know. I feel like I want to see some video footage before I make a conclusive view as to whether I like it or not. And I think the problem with the amount of news we've had this week is all the vloggers are busy at Wonderfest. They're not doing reviews on this stuff. So I'm really keen to see some video footage. I don't know why everyone's obsessed with doing the Dark Knight Rises Bruce Wayne with an open mouth. I don't understand it. I do feel like this looks better than the power pose Bruce Wayne sculpt. But I don't know if it's yes, I want to try to find this loose and put it on I've got like an Armory suit Bruce Wayne. It's currently got the DX19 head sculpt. That's probably my favorite Bruce Wayne sculpt at the moment. I probably have 4 of them floating around my collection. Like, that's how much I like it. But I was hoping this might be a cool older version of Bruce that I could use maybe with like the grey suit or one of the Bruce Wayne figures that I have. But I'm not sure at this stage. Again, I feel like the jury's still out a bit for me. I feel like it's a bit better, but I don't know if it's amazingly better. I'm not sure. What up, Helen? Hello, Equan. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Deadpool red suit sounds like Iron King has watched The Hangover. Okay, I have not, so I didn't get that reference. Mike says, I love clones, but don't need the commandos. Not really a fan of the helmet design. Dr. Doom looks good, but not for me. Gonna wait to see what RDJ does. Yeah, that's fair enough. And I'm keen to see, like, does the outfit stay classic in the movies and evolve, or will they go with that comic look? Will it start differently and end there? Like, there's a lot we don't know. So I always kind of joke that, like, I would think most collectors would have a Tony Stark head sculpt somewhere. And combining that with this Doctor Doom, is that something we're going to see a lot of? So I'm keen to see on the socials if that's the kind of photos we start seeing soon. Windman42's here. Hello, everyone. I regret not being able to pre-order Doctor Doom. I would guess it's comic fans buying it because the film version will be very different. I'm in the comic accuracy camp. That's fair enough. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the character, but I feel like since this was announced, there's a lot of people that seem quite excited for it and seem to be big Doctor Doom fans. So I'm interested to learn more about the character in the future movies. Iron King, the great thing about the Armory is we can put the Christian Bale head sculpt in the display and close it shut because it looks nothing like him. They had some creepy, well, I thought they were creepy photos where it was like, I should have put one in the slide deck, where it was like, the Bruce Wayne was like leering behind the Armory like a total creeper. I was like, what is this photo? Why is this, like, why? Oh, Deadpool red suit, the power pose head sculpt looks better than this. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think that, I think the power pose sculpt looks better in hand, but I still don't like it. I have a third-party sculpt by Image Studio on the way. So if this doesn't end up being the improvement I want, I've got my fingers crossed that Image Studio pulls it off for me because I need a better, older Bruce Wayne head sculpt. Mark says, I have a theory Hot Toys finally brought out the T2 2.0 when their spies found out InArt was about to showcase their Terminator line. I'm excited to see the two companies fight it out. Yeah, look, I mean, you've got to think some of this stuff is happening in the same facilities. Some of these facilities might be working with Hot Toys for a lot longer than InArt and be like, hey, Howie Claus, check this out. Who can say? Anthony says, I think this head sculpt is better than the Power Pose, but it still has a bit of that vampire look. It has it's odd. It kind of looks a bit like plastic Botoxy, but then it has the wrinkles and kind of the forehead thing and whatnot. And again, that open mouth. Why do they persist with this open mouth? It's not just Hot Toys. Like, so many custom artists, when they do that older Bruce Wayne, it's always with the open mouth. Why? Can someone just do him with a closed mouth, please? Mike says, this Bruce Wayne head sculpt still looks off. Kind of reminds me of some of the facial skin that Seal has. It's kind of wrinkly for some reason. That's fair enough. Dark Knight Archive says, I have that broken cowl version of Rise as you mentioned. Venom looks good, and that Doom is amazing. I don't like the head sculpt from the Dark Knight Armory set. Yeah, I'm a bit... As I said, I try to not cast a full judgment based on the blogger pictures because I feel like lighting conditions, whatnot. I really want to see some video, but I feel like it's going to be a while before this gets reviewed, given how many other things it's come out with, like Brown Suit Wolverine, the Venom, Doctor Doom. So I feel like I might be waiting a little bit, but I feel like, someone like Figure Hideout or Six Scale Kawu, like their videos will give me a bit more of an indication as to the quality of this. Mike says, I know what shot you're talking about, Helen. I think it's about to say that is Gotham's ass. It was just the weirdest, I wish I'd put it in my slide deck. It was just the weirdest blogger picture. Just this, he's like creeping behind the armory. I'm like, what is this? I don't understand. Our figure in a bubble is here. Hello, George W. Bush. Oh, is that who you think this looks like? I don't know that that's a compliment, but yeah, look, for me, I've got the 1.0, so this is not a set for me. If that sculpt is a winner, I can find it loose. I'd be happy if I can find that suit loose. I would definitely be happy because having the Riser's armory suit in the armory feels like such a waste. I want one of those newer Batman figures for my main display because at the moment it's the DX12, which looks super old now. So things to like. And if you don't have an armory, this is a really great opportunity. I do enjoy the armory pieces. I feel like if you are really into the Dark Knight, it's quite a nice sort of almost centerpiece that you can have. You can have different figures with it and whatnot. I've got mine with my black tumbler and I absolutely love it. So, all right. Hot Toys at Wonderfest. Only took 43 minutes, but we're talking about Wonderfest. We're there. As I said, I feel like Hot Toys does not always go to Wonderfest. So I don't know if this is the InArt influence that makes them feel like they have to have our presence there. But they were there, and I mean, we did see a couple of things they announced. We got to look at those figures, a couple of things, or at least one thing that hasn't been announced as yet. So we will talk about some of that. I'll just look at these comments. Collection Obsession says, I have the 1.0 armor with Alfred. That's good enough for me. Yeah, I still really like that Alfred figure as well. I think it's kind of aged quite well. So I don't feel the need to upgrade to that one. And I've got the Topo armory suit that came out. And I've combined that with the DX19 head sculpt, and I really like the way that looks. As I said, if I could get an older Bruce Wayne sculpt, either to go with the armory suit or the grey suit I've got from Dark Knight Rises, I would love that. But if not, I will happily just have many DX19 head sculpts around my collection because I really like that one. Tony T, I don't know how to say your name. Please tell me which one is correct. Just jumping in. Hope all is well. Love the streams. Thank you. What was the consensus on the Armory set? As someone who's missed out on the past releases and pre-ordered this, I'm excited. Look, I think if you don't have the 1.0, you should absolutely be excited. I love the Armory. It's an amazing piece. I do really like the aesthetic of that original Armory. There's a ton of accessories. And you have so many display options. You can have, the two figures together and the Armory on its own. You can just have Bruce with the suit in the Armory. I think it's great. As I said before, if you missed it, like if you're a Dark Knight fan, like that's your jam, I think they're such a cool piece to have. If you've got sort of bigger display cabinets, that could almost be a little bit of a centerpiece around a bunch of Dark Knight figures. But yeah, I think there's a lot to like about it. You're going to have the benefit of it being USB light up, which is cool. But no, I think it's a great piece, and I'm pretty sure it's sold out at a lot of places. So I think there's a lot of collectors that weren't around for the original. They've jumped on the 2.0. The Batman suit, like I know from the Rises one, if it's the same or similar, big improvements across the board from their past releases. I'm just not sure about that Bruce Wayne sculptors yet. I think that's just where I'd like to see some video footage from reviewers before I make a judgment on that. But I definitely feel like it looks better than the Power Pose Bruce Wayne sculpt. So baby steps. Kyle Goodwin's here. Can't stay, but we'll watch the entire replay. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. I hope you're having a great day. We've got Paul as well. Hello, everyone. Hello to you, Paul. I hope you're doing well. Figure in a Bubble says, InArt showed out this year. Very excited by the Batfleck release. Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited by that. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, it's Tony. Haha. Sorry. No, that's fine. I like to know how to say people's names because I have like a very epic Greek surname that always gets said incorrectly. So one of my things is I do try to say people's names correctly, which can be hard when I'm reading and I have an accent. So I do my best. I try very hard to get the names right. So Hot Toys, they showed us some stuff we've already seen. I did think it was cool that we finally are seeing the full Fantastic Four line on display in person. I think it's a really nice set of figures. As I've said before, enjoyed the movie, not looking to collect the figures, but I do think it's a good looking line. So if you're all in on this, I think you've got a lot to look forward to there. I did also think that the Wednesday figure, I actually thought it looked much better from the in-person footage that I saw. Like the photos I saw, I was like, oh, I actually think this looks very cool. Again, not for me, but I did think it looks pretty good. I know some people were questioning the likeness and the hair and whatnot, but when I was looking at it, I was like, hey, I think if you're into this, this is a nice looking figure. You know me, I had to include the John Wicks. They were on display there, Artisan and Sculpted. I will be pre-ordering mine very soon. I'm going to get two because I want both looks. Because I love John Wick. What are you doing? Shuri's just run into the house like an absolute wrecking ball. And then something new from Hot Toys. I'm pretty sure this is something new. I don't know what Tron is. Movie from the 80s that's got a reboot. I don't really know what that is or what this is, but people seem to be excited. Are you all right there, madame? What are you doing? Shuri's nuts. I worry about her sometimes. So the Tron, as I said, I don't particularly know what this is, but this looks like something new that we haven't seen before. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure there's not been much Tron stuff talked about in the Hot Toy sense. Hi. Do you want to show everyone your tail? It's a beautiful tail. You okay? You're right. She just wants everyone to admire her beautiful raccoon tail. And why wouldn't you? It's a beautiful tail. Hello, Shuri. My little nutter. What are you doing? I'm just hanging out. Okay, thank you. Often's here. Hello, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Tony says, no worries, thank you. Also interested in the potential Iron Man, Mark IV Iron Man, I think there is. Not sure if a 2.0 is possibly happening. Seeing all those fractal variants gives me hope. Look, I think anything Iron Man is always possible with Hot Toys because that's how they roll. John Wick looks great, tempted, but just got that look in 12th scale. Okay, that's fair enough. I can understand that. Hot Toys should have had all the Deadpool and Wolverines. Yeah, they should have, Ash, shouldn't they? How are you? Happy Friday, or happy Saturday to you, actually. Ash is already in Saturday land. Mike says, oh, wow, Aries, I might actually be excited if Jared Leto wasn't the lead. Sorry. Yeah, okay, I think I read that one. We got the cat emojis. Everyone's saying hi to you, Shuri. Shuri is drinking from a cup of water. I'm not even joking. She has a cup of water in this room. And she's drinking like she's spent a week in the desert, like she's John Wick in Parabellum looking for the dude. Shuri, everybody's so happy to see you, Shuri. Shuri is on security alert. Shuri is alert and alarmed. She has a pet door, and like sometimes she comes in very gracefully, and sometimes I just hear, and she's, see you, Shuri. I love how everyone loves Shuri. That makes me so happy. Does this mean Shuri failed to find William? Look, she's just gone back out to keep looking. I think she was looking. She got thirsty. She came in to drink some water from her cup. Now she's back out. Shuri doesn't give up. Shuri's persistent. Persistence pays. So we've got the Tron Legacy, Ares, whoever that dude is. And then the big one, as we mentioned, the Endoskeleton. So this was something that Hot Toys announced before the con. And then we got some not amazing pictures of it. There wasn't a lot of in-hand images of this. And then the surprise from InArt that we're doing one too. So that's interesting with the talk that InArt has the Terminator 1 license. I don't know. Is there a difference in endoskeletons? I would assume it's the T800. It should be the same in theory, like from a design perspective, like perhaps not too many differences. But I think it will be interesting because what we don't know is how much of the Hot Toys figure will be die-cast. Apparently the InArt one will be fully die-cast, which will be interesting. So I don't know. Decisions if you're a Terminator fan. Oh, Windman, thank you. Tron 82 got a sequel in 2010 and an animated series in 2012. Original was noted for its visual style, which was ahead of its time in 1982. I was too young to be watching movies in 1982. Mike says, so again, not something I'm going to collect, but the question is, why not paint the eyes red so it doesn't look dead when not powered? Look, that's a good question. I think some people have asked that at times when figures have light up eyes and whatnot. It's a good question. I think even particularly now with swap out Sith eyes. Why not have some swap out eyes that are red if you don't want to have it lit up? Like, that's a really good question. I wouldn't think that is too expensive an inclusion to have. Dark Knight Archive says the T2 Endoskeleton announcement was an epic reveal. Yeah, I know with the new Terminator figures that have been announced and released, a lot of people have been asking about the Endoskeleton. So I have to be honest, even though these things are not for me, when they do finally announce them, I do feel happy for collectors. It was like when Hot Toys finally announced Cyborg for the Justice League, like not for me, but I was so happy that people who loved that movie could finish the team. So I think it's awesome. And I think, so far they've done a really great job with those T800. So hopefully this is another good figure from that line. Often says Tron Legacy has that epic Daft Punk OST. I don't know what an OST is. I'm so sorry. It's also 11 o'clock at night and my brain is mush. So I'm sorry. So yeah, Endoskeleton. And I just thought I'd pop in the image that shows what he comes with. Because as I said, I didn't feel like there was a lot of photos of him from the convention. I hate when they put this red writing because I feel like I can never read it. Interchangeable battle something components. Swap out parts. We like that. He's got the LED light up function in the sculpt, and I do agree it does look a lot more alive when the eyes are red. You've got a bit of a diorama base. You've got some weapons. You've got some swap out hands. So you've got a couple little display options with your battle damaged Endoskeleton. I know. William Wang's hard to find, isn't he? Shuri, I know you're trying, my sweet. Mike says, never saw the OG Tron, but Tron Legacy is my favorite. You're right, Often Studios. Daft Punk killed it with the soundtrack. Oh, okay. Official soundtrack. Like, I know stuff. I don't know stuff. I don't really know anything. I don't pretend to. So, Death Stranding, is that what this is called, the video game? Again, don't pretend that I really know what this is. But they originally showed not Darryl Dixon, whatever his name is in this game, which has Standard and Artisan. And now, is it Higgs that this other character is called? So this is another one that I don't think has been previously announced by Hot Toys. So this was kind of their second, I guess, surprise reveal of the con. This figure is coming out. To me, it looked like the hair was rooted, so I'm not sure if this is getting just an Artisan release or potentially both. Is it a standard release? Not quite sure. So there was a photo of him with the other dude who, I don't know his name. A name popped into my head and I don't even know if that's the right one, so I'm not even going to say it. But Higgs, I think that's the other dude's name. He's got a very funky looking guitar. I think it's a guitar. He's got a face mask. He got some different hands and things like that. I have no idea about this game, so I'm not sure how big this character is, whatnot. But yay for companion pieces, right? Sam Porter Briggs. Is that really his name? Because I was going to say Sam, and then I was like, you've just picked a random guy's name, and that's probably not even his name. I feel like it took all my memory to remember that game was called Death Stranding, because that just feels like an odd name to me. I always think it's Death Standing, but then that's not it. That's Troy Baker, the OG Joel from the game. Oh, really? That's so cool. I do know of Troy Baker because he does a lot of cons here in Australia, or he used to at a period of time. So I know of Troy Baker. Dark Knight Archive says, I saw a video for a 6-scale Endoskeleton quite some time ago from someone who customized the base. So when you place the figure on the base, it made the eyes light up. Oh, that's cool. That's like, I know Bob Dylan had an Iron Man and a Rescue modded. So the light up feature was like a touch button thing. Like you just touched I'm pretty sure you just touched the chest plate and it lit up. So there's some cool stuff that people do. And I'm hoping that that's kind of the future evolution of some of this stuff. Like, can we get stuff that we can just charge up? Things that are wireless. Like this would be really cool to have. Hopefully in the future. Anthony says, I showed my Siberian forest cat Princess Isabel the virtual Shuri Pats video. I swear she meowed peasant and then got mad because I wouldn't type it in the comments. She called Shuri a peasant. That's a bit mean. I don't know anything about Siberian forest cats. But geez, Isabel, calm down. Shuri's just a humble little tabby cat. I'm glad people have watched the virtual Pats with Shuri because I didn't, like, Keith suggested it and I thought it would be a bit fun. Spoiler, not all the pats go well if you haven't seen the video. Mark says, I'm so happy about the Endoskeleton and I will compare between InArt and Hot Toys, which is better, also the price. Yeah, I'm sure that would be quite helpful to people. I think there's a lot of... I wonder if the prototype will do an influencer world tour. Maybe that will answer some questions for us as well. Won't that be fun? Winman42, what the heck is that figure on the right? That's Higgs from Death Stranding with his Darryl Dixon game friend. Not his name, but this is how bad I am with names. Like, he's in the ballerina. Can't for the life of me remember what his name is in the ballerina. Because there wasn't a lot of his character. And my understanding is that in edits, they cut down his role. He's like the dad with the ice cream. That's how I remember him from Ballerina. I really need to watch that again. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I mean the one with the guitar thing. That's Higgs from Death Stranding, I think. Shuri, did you know cats in England are mean? So not cool. Higgs is what everyone kept calling him. They could be trolling. That could be his name. It could be something else. I don't know. Oh, Daniel Pine. Thank you. I'm legit going to write that down. I have a pen. I don't know why that name just doesn't stick into my head. It just absolutely doesn't. Am I caught up with the comments? Yes, I am. Which is timely. I have thoughts and feelings about the Harley Quinn. Shuri, I wish they could have heard you meow just then. That would have been perfect. Hot Toys has made 7 Harley Quinn figures previous to this. And they still can't get anything to look like Margot Robbie. I did not expect them to revisit the Suicide Squad figure. And there's some big improvements that they've made. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's trash. No. I think the seamless body is obviously a big tick. The jointed knees through the stockings were an issue. And I think Hot Toys has obviously come a long way because we were previously told the tattoos with the seamless silicone bodies is a problem. So they've obviously found a way to make that work, which is great. You're right there, dude. So I think that's great. From a body perspective, there's lots of improvements there. The legs are fully visible. No one wants those ugly knees there. So fair play, good improvements. The likeness does not look like Margot Robbie. And I think the bigger problem with this is the sculpted one looks better than the Artisan. Like, that's crazy to me. The more expensive version of this figure looks less like it, like what I expect Margot Robbie Harley Quinn to look like. I don't know about I feel like it's too blonde. I feel like I like the way the ponytail sits on the sculpted version better as well. But for me, I'm just at a bit of a loss because none of these Harleys, including the Suicide Squad one, which was the look that I wanted, I don't look at any of these head sculpts and go, that's it. That's the Margot Robbie sculpt. That looks best. Like, I look back and I think on the different Harleys, and if I had time, I would have put pictures of them all up, but I didn't. I think back to like the Prisoner Harley, and I feel like the Prisoner Harley in my mind is the one that I think is their strongest sculpt that they've done. And that's like one of their earlier Margot Robbie sculpts. So it's interesting because, I mean, do I think they're going to go back and revisit a bunch of figures from Suicide Squad? Not really. I can't think that anybody's really wanting a Jared Leto Joker that can't get one cheaply in the secondary market. I'm not sure people really want more Will Smith Deadshot figures. So this surprised me. having a standard release, if it was just an Artisan, I'd go fair play. But having a standard release as well is so interesting. So I don't know. As I said, for me, the biggest thing is I just don't think this particularly looks like Margot. Like, there's a couple of photos that I look at and I go, okay, maybe a little bit there. I've seen a lot of people reference Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't quite know that it looks like Michelle Pfeiffer either. I feel like the Artisan one just looks like cosplayer. It really does. Like, people make that reference and I'm like, it kind of does. So I don't know what you guys think about this figure. As I said, I can appreciate the improvements that have been made to the body and it being seamless. And I think you see that with even in the middle photo of the two figures together, like with those seamless bodies. I'm guessing there's like a metal skeleton in there. And we can see even with the way the legs are posed, like you're getting subtleties in the posing that you can't get with a typical plastic figure body. So that whole sort of having the sort of knock knee look, that's all stuff you typically wouldn't be able to do with a figure like this. So as I said, I can appreciate a lot of the product development as far as the body and that having a much nicer aesthetic, but I still just feel like the sculpt is not there for me. So I'm keen to know what you guys think, because as I said, I feel like I'm still waiting for someone to make a really good Margot Robbie. And this is where, God, we go back to InArt. Like, InArt could have done the Suicide Squad figures ages ago. And had they done like 3 SKUs for Harley, the jumpsuit, the red dress, and a 2-pack, I can't think that wouldn't have been popular. I want that jumpsuit look so badly, but I want it to actually look like Margot Robbie. Mike says, so apparently Hot Toys thinks I don't have enough DC figures. I currently have Supergirl and InArt Wonder Woman on PO, but seeing this come on Hot Toys, this is not a rabbit hole I want to go down. Well, this is where, like, fighting FOMO, like, because there's so much being dropped right now. Like, I think it's really important to be picky and not just like get caught up in the FOMO and pre-order things. Like, I know at one point people were trying to convince me to get like the Wolverine figure, and I always come back to, like, if I didn't have that urge to pre-order it at the time, it's not a figure for me. So I think with everything that is coming out, I do think people need to be quite picky with what they're getting, because I just feel like trying to sell figures in the secondary market, it's a waste of time, and it's very rare that you'll get your money back, in my experience anyway. Rich says we only want King Shark 2.0. I don't even think the 1.0 was sold out, is it? It's not in Australia anyway. Mike says sculpted hair is definitely the way to go. I do see the likeness, but agree it's not super strong. Love the way they fixed the atrocious knees, though, from the previous release. I think that's the biggest thing with this one. Like, the improvements in the body are definitely a big tick in the box there, but I don't know. And then people talking about, I'll get the sculpted and get it rooted, and I'm like going, I don't know that that's going to fix the likeness. I don't know if a repaint would fix the likeness. Like, sometimes it's quite interesting. Like, sometimes people send sculpts off and they get repainted and it improves the likeness dramatically. I feel that way about like the Hot Toys Elena and Kate Bishop. Like, I've seen them get repainted and I do think it's improved the likeness. But yeah, it's such a shame for, as I say, this is figures 8 and 9 of Harley Quinn played by Margot Robbie from Hot Toys, and they just can't get the likeness right. Like, I know there's other actors where they're like, oh, they can't get the likeness right. Like, they got there with Keanu eventually. Will Margot still be playing Harley Quinn by the time they get it right, if they ever do? I don't know. Deadpool Red Suit says, the previous red and black Artisan is Hot Toys' best attempt at Harley. The latest Harley, her legs should be thinner. The portrait does not look like Margot. The portrait definitely does not look like Margot. Sharon says, I think it looks like her pretty well. Okay. I think the best likeness I see is the recent Infinity Studios life-size bust of the Suicide Squad Harley in red and black outfit from the beginning of the movie. Okay, I'm not familiar with that piece, but I mean, 1-to-1 scale, like, you've got such a big canvas, and I do feel like the bigger the collectible, like, I've seen, there's an Australian collector, I forget what his social media name is, but I know his first name is Nello. Um, he is a big Terminator collector, and he has this, like, life-size T2 Arnie bust, and that's incredible. Like, I just think the detail they can get in things of that bigger scale is super impressive. Oh, it just debuted at Wonderfest. Fair enough. There was so much at Wonderfest. It was really hard because I was like, I saw this, I think it might have been Prime 1, Voldemort statue. And at first I thought it was like, oh, is this InArt, like dropping a Voldemort? But no, it was a Prime 1 studio statue. And my goodness, it had Nangini, the snake. That thing looked real. That thing looked creepily real. And I know I live in Australia, but I don't need creepily real snake statue. But it was very impressive. As I said, I was trying to just stick to the 6 scale stuff, but there was so much at Wonderfest. Seriously. I hope that some people maybe do like some booth tours or do a little bit more longer form footage from the convention. I would like to see that if anybody's out there. I think that would be awesome. But look, again, I just wanted to round out what Harley comes with, like we did with the Endoskeleton. So moving eyes, which is what we expect. They really like the photo of the backside of the figure, don't they? That was there a lot. Typical accessories. You got the mallet, the bat. She comes with her pistol, display base, hands. And I think that is it the Enchantress accessory? I think that's what it is. Oh no, it must not be. Okay. Don't know what that last thing is, sorry. But then the Artisan one has Soul Taker and Enchantress Heart as a bonus accessory. Similar things. You've got rolling eyes, similar accessories. All that's there. Some of this text color combination is not accessible. I'd love to know if someone who's colorblind can read that, because I can't even barely read that. I think the top one is talking about wool implantation beautifulness. As they do. As they do. It's the heart. Do you think so? Because then why does this one have it split out, but then it's in the picture as well? I don't know. That pic of the head sculpt on the right looks like her to me in the sculpted version. There was, I should have included it. There was one of the photos where she's kind of looking over her shoulder. And to me, as I was looking through the photos, that was like, oh, that kind of looks like Margot. But I'm not going for kind of looks. Like, I want a spot on Margot, please. Dr. Noy says Toys or Dr. Noy. Dr. No. Toys Lab channel has a great booth tour of Wonderfest. Work checking out the amazing displays. I am writing that down. I feel like last year someone went live at one of the Wonderfests and was quite good because they were showing things and answering questions. But I will check out their channel. Thank you so much. It's the special edition, I think. It's getting very confusing with the standard special edition Artisan. Like with the wick, like, I don't know, like the coin is not really a thing I seek out. I know for some people that was really important, but for me, I was like, that's fine. I don't need it. Mike says the Artisan hair needs improving. To me, kind of feels like the back, it's back to the doll hair. Not great because it looks like the hair is too poofy, if that makes sense. Yeah, the pigtails don't sit well on the rooted hair. I think to me, like, look at that. Like, if you flick through, like, the color is so vastly different. And I think we saw that with Artisan Scarlet Witch as well. If you remember when we got those first promo pictures, the Artisan hair color was much lighter. Granted, they did improve that on release. Will they do that with this? You never know with Hot Toys. Howard Chan is an enigma wrapped in a riddle. It's part of his charm. It's why we love Howie Claus. But I feel like so much about it, like the fringe, the ponytails, the way the hair sits. But the biggest thing is like that hair color. It's such a big difference to me. It's a huge difference. If I wanted this, I think I'd be going sculpted. Deadpool Red Suit says, I think the eyes are wrong. Maybe they should be larger. I don't know. I do not know. That hair, seriously. Let's talk about InArt. InArt. Wonderfest is their jam. It's where they like to show us a lot of stuff. Some of these images are from TWN_collection on Instagram. I think they were at the event. They shared a lot of photos. His photos are watermarked, so amazing because I know where they come from. Some of these images are from social media. I don't know where they've come from because lots of people were sharing the same images, which clearly weren't there. So apologies if I'm using your image and it's not credited. I do my best to do that. I've also taken the odd screenshot from the short video that InArt posted this afternoon. Dark Knight Archives, can we please get an animated series Harley Quinn from Hono? Oh my god, that would be amazing. I haven't seen the last season, but I do like Harley Quinn, the animated series. I think it's so cool. I think a Harley and an Ivy would be so cool. But this is I've said that from Hono. Like, why is Hono not doing Batman the animated series? Why is Hono not doing some more of those comic figure Batman characters? I think there's so many classic Batman characters and villains that could be tackled from a comic perspective. Again, I get it. DC has been a bit of a mess, but you could do, Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and then have, Joker and Harley, Riddler, Penguin, go into those more classic looks. Like, I would love that. I would be totally into that. But Hono is like budget Disney. Like, they do Star Wars and Marvel. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is another one that I think would have been such a good one for Hono to do. And it's the same base body. You're just doing slightly different paint applications, different masks and different belts and different accessories. Like, I just think Hono could be so much more, but it's not. Ash says, I see her more in the sculpted. I'll go back then because it looks odd to be looking at Dumbledore and talking about Harley. Absolutely, Helen, sculpted all the way. High five. High five to you. With all due respect to Michael Gambon, I'm glad InArt did a Richard Harris version of Dumbledore. His version was great for the younger Potter years. Not sure how he would have handled the action. Yeah, look, I think, they're obviously going for the Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone. So I don't know if they're going to do figures from the later movies and then they can tackle the Michael Gambon version of Dumbledore there. But this is another one where, again, like, I think InArt does a pretty good job with the rooted hair. Like, these Harry Potter outfits with the cloaks and whatnot, there's a lot of detail to them. My biggest question is always, I just don't know how popular some of this stuff is going to be because I don't think this Harry Potter line has been a big seller. But the figures have looked pretty good, and I feel like with the figures of the kids, each one has gotten better. I think bits of the Harry one were maybe a little bit rough, but then when you look at that Hermione figure, like, I think that looks pretty good. So we got a look at Dumbledore. As I said, I feel like it was Wonderfest 2023 that we got our first glimpse at him. So obviously something that I don't know if that's gone on the back burner. Has it something they've been continually working on? Not too sure, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are collecting that Harry Potter line that would like to have him in their collection. So hopefully an announcement around that is coming soon. We got a closer look at the Snape, and again, these are just the randomness of the photos. Like some are dark, some are bright, so it can make it a bit tricky to kind of know what to make of some of these figures, and that's why I'm probably not too super critical on these at this point. But I think the Snape is looking pretty nice. Again, the rooted hair is looking good. The robes sitting very nicely there. And then we got this wider look at, I guess, the collection to date. So we've got the three kids from Gryffindor. We've got Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron. And then we've got the Draco Malfoy, which is still in development. I was hoping that there might have been a bit more close-up pictures of Draco, because they did talk about updating that head sculpt. So I don't know if what they displayed at the convention was a revised version or the sort of their original prototype. We don't know. Snape and Dumbledore. And I think the diorama pieces they've done with this Harry Potter set are really cool. Like the Gryffindor common room diorama pieces that come with the deluxe versions of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Like, they look fantastic. And I think that's the cool thing. Like, having these diorama pieces, you can really sort of create that view of that world of Hogwarts or Hogsmeade, wherever they are. I don't know where this is meant to be. I don't think it's Hogsmeade. Maybe it's Dumbledore's office. I don't know. But as I say, these diorama pieces I really like. So I think it's cool that InArt gives people that option to have them if they so desire. So again, we got a little bit of an updated look at the Harry Potter line. And then, as I said, I wasn't seeing a lot of pictures of the Wonder Woman figure, but I did get this screenshot from the video that InArt shared, and I do think the hair is looking nicer. So I don't know if they've made changes to the amount of hair, whether it's just they've restyled it, but I think this is looking much improved, because that prototype sample review that Justin did, the hair did not look great. It looked very flat and greasy, and like she needed a date with some dry shampoo to sort that out. It still, to me, has quite a bit of a wet look to it, but I do feel like it's got a lot more volume and it's sitting nicer. As I say, it was looking very flat and straggly before, which was not a great look. I don't know whether they're re-looking at that sculpt at all. There were those rumors from Chinese social media, apparently, that they were not retooling the sculpt. I don't know if the feedback to that video has made them change their mind or not. There was nothing obvious to me about the sculpt that made me think it was different. If you think it looks different, let me know why. I just feel like perhaps the hair is sitting nicer and it's framing the face a bit better than what we had previously seen. So I think it just shows, like, with rooted hair, it does need some maintenance. It does need some working on, because as I said before, this sculpt does look a lot better now with the hair the way it currently is compared to what we've seen before. And that's probably part of the reason why I still lean towards sculpted, because I don't have to tend to it. Sharon says, the only InArt figures I'm considering is the BVS Batman. I have the 2.0 Hot Toys Deluxe still in the shipper. Oh, really? And the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman. This is the figure I've been wanting to see more of. Me too. Hathaway Catwoman is probably the one InArt figure I have the most interest in. Most other things they're doing are not things that I'm particularly looking for. It's interesting though, but you know what? Like, I am mildly obsessed with the diorama from that Affleck figure. That brick wall diorama is so cool, and I've seen people posing it with John Wick, posing it with James Bond. I really want to try to find one of those loose. I feel like that's something I want to keep an eye on, because I just feel like it's such a versatile diorama that you could use with so many different figures. Mike says, I think this Wonder Woman looks better. They need to fix her right eye. It's kind of wonky. Oh, really? I'm guessing it's also rolling eyes, right? So maybe it's just the positioning because one of the eyes looks a little bit turned in. So it may just be the position they have the eyes in. Big Ribs here. Hello, Helen. So how many of these InArt Hot Toys figures are you getting? Look, my wallet's pretty safe, Big Rib. My biggest point of interest is the Anne Hathaway Catwoman. And then from a Hot Toys perspective, I mean, we've been talking about that John Wick for weeks now. So definitely the Chapter 1 John Wick. Helen plans to get 2. So that is probably the biggest thing for me. And then, sorry, Shuri is just... something's up with her and I don't know what. So yeah, sort of Hot Toys didn't show much news. So the Tron Legacy and the Death Stranding, not of interest to me. But the Hathaway Catwoman is definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. So I've kind of, I'm probably lucky being such a, I guess, limited in what I collect that I find it pretty easy to resist some of this stuff. And I also have no room for new lines. So that also probably helps me as well. Mike says, I mean, this Wonder Woman has to look better, right? And not just because I PO'd it. I think there's a lot of people who want them to get it right. Because, I mean, realistically, do we think they would do it again? Like, if there's then a different actress. Sorry, I was trying to look at Shuri's paws because I was worried she got stung by something, but no, she's just wound up. Yeah, I don't know if they would do it again. So I kind of feel like, do they have to get this one right because there won't be another chance? I don't know. Because, I mean, if they cast someone else in this role, would they still be trying to do a gal? I don't know. Many questions. Deadpool Red Suit says, need to see the InArt Catwoman with goggles in place. For the moment, the J&D looks like the most impressive with the least impressive price. I have the original Hot Toys Hathaway Catwoman. Yeah, that's the figure I still have. I've got the original Hot Toys one. I agree. I wish we could see it with the goggles because I think I'll talk about it when we get to it. But yeah, I do wonder how that might impact the look of it. So I'm with you. Sharon says, it's funny Queen showed that life-size Catwoman statue. They put it up for PO for $4,800+. Then next day raised it on their website to $11,800. I know someone pre-ordered it at the wrong price. Oops, that's a little bit of a difference, isn't it? My goodness. Far out. I'm wondering what InArt Queen will do. Me too. I do wonder. I need Hot Toys to release more Star Wars, and as my wallet isn't safe at the moment. Oh. Yeah, my wallet's always safe when it's a Star Wars announcement. Dark Knight Archive says, I'm so excited for this Reeve Superman. The Wonder Woman looks much better here. I have her pre-ordered, and I'll probably pre-order the BVS Batman. Big Group says, I got the Hot Toys 2.0 Hathaway Catwoman. The InArt Catwoman looks awesome, but I don't know I'd spend InArt money for Hathaway. Yeah, look, and pricing will be interesting because, I mean, in theory, Selina's not a character if you're just having her as Catwoman that has a lot of accessories. And this is where some of the InArt pricing has been interesting. Like some of the figures that don't have a lot have not been as heavily priced as others. So I thought it was quite interesting because if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like the David Corenswet Superman was cheaper than the Henry Cavill one. So we shall see. But yeah, I'm keen to see what the price is. I have the Hot Toys Catwoman 2.0. I thought the InArt one looked weird. This is where I wish they had the goggles on it because I think it's one thing to have the sculpt. I think it's another thing to have the goggles. And I don't know if the sculpt's been designed as a, yes, have it just as Selena, or whether it's designed with the intent of having the goggles on. So it would have been nice to see it like that, because I have mixed views on that sculpt. But again, I'm trying to be open-minded of prototype, and some of the lighting in these environments is not always the best. As I say, some of the photos look dark, some look overexposed. So I'm trying not to be too harsh. I guess I'm kind of happy that they're progressing it. But it's definitely not perfect, I don't feel. Chris Collectibles, hello. I feel like the hair on the Wonder Woman in this photo looks better than the prototype Justin received. They definitely added too much product on the proto. Yeah, Chris, I was saying that before, that I feel like the hair's a big improvement. I'm not sure if they did anything to the volume, as in added more hair, or whether it was just the styling. But it still has that wet look, but it doesn't seem so flat and straggly as it did before. I think this hair is looking a lot nicer, and I definitely feel like it's framing the face much better as well. Jaron says, I think the Reeve Superman has a good chance to be great. I think people definitely want it to be great. I think a lot of people want InArt to get that right. I agree. Amazing. Rich says, I wish InArt can pick up rare license like the Mummy characters or Jurassic characters. Chronicle Collectibles, I think they now don't exist. I think they went bankrupt. They were doing a bunch of the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. I know people have kind of flagged that with Jazz Inc. I've got no idea whether they would or wouldn't do that at all, but maybe. I got my first InArt 12 scale Batman. They did not make the new accessory pack available for all territories. Boo. There was a post that Kit did in his group, which talked about they're gonna, like, InArt's looking at some way to make it more accessible to people. So Kit said he didn't know if that was necessarily going to be through him, but he must have had people asking him about it. So he has posted that in his group if you want to take a look at that. So it does sound like they're trying to find a way to make that more accessible to people. Yeah, Corin Sweat I have on order. Cannot wait to get him. That's cool. Darryl Dixon. So we saw the Darryl Dixon figure from The Walking Dead. Photo on the right was from TWN_collection on Instagram. They've got some amazing footage from the convention if you want to check that out. Looks really nice to me. Has a really nice likeness to the actor. Is his name Norman Reedus? I want to say that's his name. Apologies if it's not. Looks like, again, we've got sort of the seamless forearms, which is nice. We've got the tattoo detail, a bit of a diorama base, and a weapon. I don't watch The Walking Dead. Should he have come with other stuff? I don't really know. But I do think these Walking Dead figures have looked pretty nice. I know you guys have had some pretty mixed views on The Walking Dead and how popular these will be. So I am keen to, I guess, maybe find out down the road what the order numbers are like if we do get some kind of insights into that. But I do think this head sculpt looks really nice. I don't really know from what I know of this actor and what he looks like, I don't really know what you would change. Like, the hair looks nice. I think the likeness is really solid. I think all three of these figures look great. I just don't really know how popular they still would be at this point in time. This would be a great sculpt to kit bash Daniel Pine from Ballerina. Wrote it down, so now I can remember the name. Dark Knight Archive says, imagine having this Reeve Superman and the 89 Keaton Batman on a shelf. That would be one epic display. I mean, that would be a lot of people's childhoods. I mean, I know when I was a kid, the Reeve Superman movies were the ones kicking around. This was before they did so many retakes. And Keaton is a lot of people's Batman. So I can just imagine for so many people that would be collector goals to have really nice versions of those figures. Yes, Norman Reedus plays Darryl on The Walking Dead. Sometimes I know stuff. Well, sometimes I remember people's names. Darryl Dixon looks amazing. I have Negan on pre-order. Oh, that's cool. What's the other dude? Testing my memory now. God, I'm so bad at this. Rick. Not getting Rick? I find it so interesting when people are getting one and not the other, and because I don't know the show, I'm like I don't get why some people are just getting one and not the other. I don't know if like one is protagonist, one is antagonist. I don't really know. Anthony says the Walking Dead figures look amazing. I'm just not into it anymore. And I think I feel that way with a few of the things that InArt is doing. Like some like dated IPs is the love still there from some people? I don't know. Is Ballerina worth watching? I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. I know some people get picky about little continuity things, but I feel like they kind of placed it well and kind of set it in the timeline quite well. I enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely watch it again. I probably need to watch it again to study a bit more about what weapons John uses, because I want to kit bash a ballerina John Wick. And I'm hoping Hot Toys comes through with an Eve Macaro figure. I enjoyed it. And I have to say, I do like the kind of building on the world of John Wick and seeing different aspects, because obviously there's the different, do they call them families? And we've kind of seen a bit of the Russians with the sort of chapter 1 and 2. Then we saw bits of the high table, but with this one, it was really nice of seeing, I think it's the Ruscaroma, seeing a bit more of their side of things. I really liked it. If you like John Wick, I think you've got to see it. Excuse me. Often says, I need a Michonne with the 2 zombies. I need a Michonne. I'm hoping that's how you say it. Because my understanding is that is a Koye. And maybe if someone makes a Michonne, someone might then do some custom Okoye work, which would be amazing. I really want a Okoye. Please and thank you, anybody listening. I'm still waiting for a ballerina announcement. All we've gotten is just a tease from Hot Toys. I know, Dark Knight Archives. I am with you in solidarity for wanting the ballerina figure. I had really hoped with the hype of the John Wick 1 figure announcement, I feel like that would have been a great time to then do the ballerina. But they didn't, because Hot Toys doesn't do things in logical sequence or order or anything. So I just hope it's still happening. I really hope it's still happening, because I planned out this whole John Wick display based on there being an Eve figure as well. Like, I know where I'm going to put the diorama. I'm going to put Kane and Wick and all this stuff. And funny, diorama from Kit, which came to me when a typhoon was happening, got here quicker than my Kane figure from Pop Culture. I paid for them on the same day. Diorama here, no Kane. So next week, we'll unbox Kane if that's of interest to people, because he's on the way from Pop Culture. I was able to pick him up during their recent sale, which I'm quite excited to get. But yeah, I've planned this whole diorama, Wick, like having my Topo Kane, the Hot Toys Kane, different versions of John. And then I was going to have Eve and John from the ballerina. So I hope Hot Toys doesn't flake out on us. Yes, it is the same actress. Amazing. This is why I'm like, make someone, I think, was it 3-0 did, I think, a Michonne figure? I want to say. I feel like one's been done, but an InArt one would obviously be of a higher quality. Absolutely great service from 16 Hit. Agreed. When I paid that invoice, I would not have been shocked if posting out the diorama would have been delayed, because I even said, I was like, oh my God, it's a typhoon and you're still shipping stuff out. And it was funny because the boxes are so big, like they're as big as the figure box. And so I get why they've done them separately. and they were together for the longest time, and then they got to the sorting facility for Australia Post here, and they got split up, which broke my heart. So I've got to go pick up the other part tomorrow. But that's Darryl Dixon. As I said, looks really good. I think InArt has done a really great job with these, the Walking Dead figures. Time will tell how popular they are and what the demand is. All right, this is one where I think you guys are going to have some opinions on. So do feel free to chime in the comments, whether you're alive or in the replay. Batfleck. Ben Affleck is not my Batman. I do not have a Batfleck. I don't intend to get a Batfleck. I'm probably going to get trolled for this. People having Batfleck as their favorite Batman, I don't really understand, because I just don't feel like I got enough of him to make an opinion as to where I think he ranks amongst Batman actors. We never got a solo movie, so everything is sort of like an ensemble piece. So we got a look at the InArt prototype. I found it interesting, as I said, that people had quite harsh criticisms of some of these photos. I'm trying not to be, because, as I've said before, some things are lit well, not lit well, shadowy, don't know what devices people are using to capture footage with. So until we see something a bit close up, I'm not ready to be like pitchforks at 11, let's go. They're doing it. It's ticking the box where you're getting, the Ben Affleck sculpt and the cow sculpt as well. I know people like a chonky Batfleck. This body does look quite stocky and big to me, which I feel like should tick the box for some people. But I'm interested to know, what do you think about this? Because, as I said, I did think, and this just shows you the difference in the lighting. Look how dark this is. Look how bright these are. So I don't know who took their Hot Toys Batfleck to the con, but well done you. Like, round of applause. I think that was just a legendary thing to do, to take. I'm just going to take my Hot Toys figure with it and put it side by side. So we can see, like, there's going to be some differences. So we can see with the mouth plates, there's some differences. We can see with the color of the suit, there's some differences. As I said, Batfleck's not my dude, so do I study the suit to know which one is the more accurate? I don't know. I'm also more of a what looks cool collector, so I'll always be more swayed by what I think looks better than I've studied every intricate detail, and if it's not pinpoint, then how dare you? You've ruined my childhood. Dark Knight Archives, remember, this is still a prototype. All of them are they not? Deadpool red suit. He is not my Batman. I don't have an opinion. He looks too big, bulky. I don't know. I feel like people really wanted him to be bulky. I feel like that's people's desired look for him. And I don't know if that's based on Affleck or from the comics, because that Dark Knight comic figure that Hot Toys does is like, it's a big boy. Helen, Batfleck isn't your Batman. I knew I liked you. His track record wasn't great with superheroes as he destroyed Daredevil. It was so funny because the other night on TV here in Australia, Green Lantern was on. And part of me was like, do I watch it? And then I was like, no, you don't have time for things. And then you're going to sit here and waste your time watching Green Lantern. What are you doing? Yeah, I haven't even seen all of that Daredevil. I don't know. I found it very cringy. I think I came across it on TV and I just couldn't do it. I've never been the biggest lover of Ben Affleck, but I feel like, because I love Batman, I'm like, give it a go. See what he's like. I call it the Anne Hathaway convention, because when she was announced as Catwoman, this is terrible. What is she doing? The chick from The Devil Wears Prada. You got to be kidding me. And she was amazing. So I do try to go in very open-minded, just like with Robert Pattinson. I was like, first I was like, the Twilight guy, and then it's like, no, let's see what he does. And then I thought, did a great job. So I went in quite open-minded, and I was bummed that the Solo movie never came out, probably more because I do like Deathstroke, and I would have loved to have seen a movie with Deathstroke as the villain. But yeah, I don't know. What I've seen of him, I don't really have him ranked that highly in Batman. I just really don't. But yeah, the people have such a strong love for him, and I don't always get what that's based on, whether that's because there's a comic aesthetic element to it and that's what people are being drawn to, or whether it's his actual portrayal of Bruce. I'm not quite sure. Anthony says, I like the darker suit. I always thought Hot Toys was too light. Well, I mean, there's definitely a color difference between the two. Mike says coward look is probably the best out of the two. Yeah, a lot of people were critical of that head sculpt, but as I said, I'm a bit like not sure of, again, is it lighting? And we don't know what stage these prototypes are at. So I think that can be a bit of a issue as well. Like, as I said, when we saw things a couple of years ago, like the Reeve Superman, like Daenerys, were they undercooked? Were they half-baked? We don't really know. There was a Green Lantern movie, I have flashes of Deadpool, and then it goes blank. Mike, I worry about your memory sometimes. So yeah, as I say, kudos to the dude who took the Hot Toys figure, because that's a boss move. I have respect for that. Terminator did not have this on my bingo card for InArt, but apparently Terminator 1. We've got, I'm assuming 3 different SKUs. Maybe not. Time will tell. So we've obviously got a clean version, a battle damage version, and an endoskeleton, apparently die cast. So this will be interesting because, as I said, I feel like Hot Toys has done a really great job with those Terminator 2 figures. So the bar's up there for InArt. Like, the bar has been set high by Hot Toys. So the other thing that I also don't know with half this stuff is, like, when is this even going out for pre-order? When is this even going to be released? Like, it's one thing to show things at a con. And I do go back to Wonderfest 2023 because I think a lot of people would have thought that Christopher Reeve Superman would have already gone up for order by now, but we're still waiting 2 years on for that. So it's one thing to show them. It's another thing to actually put them out for sale. So coming 20-something, who knows? But I'm keen to know, people that are Terminator fans, do you need this version? Is it I need them all? Is it no, I've got the T2 ones, I'm quite happy with them? I do feel like at a glance, the endoskeleton does have a little bit of a different look to it. I do wonder if the Hot Toys one is a bit more on the plastic side than die cast. I wonder so many things. Like, is the body, what's the body like? Is it seamless? Is it not seamless? I'm not entirely sure. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Where am I up to? Is this about Batfleck? The unmasked head sculpt kind of looks like the puzzled look Shaggy Rogers permanently had in Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be nice. Is that about the Ben Affleck? I don't think that's about the Terminator. The T800 will include the clean and battle damage parts. It was mentioned in a stream. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they did a stream. I didn't have time to watch it. That's cool. I like that. Give people the choice. It's kind of a nice way to be. Then you've got the option there. So not bad about that. If you feel like you need both looks, you can get 2. And if you're like, no, I don't need 2, you've then got the best of both worlds. So that's nice. I was actually thinking about this the other day because like, I miss the days when Hot Toys would give you, like, secondary outfits and things like that. Like, back in the day, you could have, you know, when you got the first Purple Coat Joker, you had the whole police outfit in the set. So you could either build it as a second figure. I even feel like the T1000 had a whole bunch of stuff, additional clothing items. That's not as common now, and I kind of miss those days. I miss those days when we got all those accessories. So yeah, I kind of like that they're doing that approach. I also wonder if that will streamline the production a bit for them, because I do wonder if having so many different SKUs is kind of what's making it take a long time for InArt to get figures out the door. So maybe that's a good move for them. Mike says, I really like the Endo. It looks good. I heard a rumor that Endoskeleton may be die-cast. Has there been any confirmation? I forget who said it, but someone earlier in the stream said it's meant to be die-cast, fully die-cast. So I will take their word for it. So hopefully that is the case. Anthony says, I agree, the feet look too big, but since it's die-cast, they have to hold the figure up. Oh, is that for the Endoskeleton? I wonder if it would have magnetic base or not. They seem to have gone away from that. Figurecraft is here. Hello, Philly. Hello, Helen and chat. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. It's almost Saturday. I'm 7 minutes away from Saturday. That's crazy. This is what I've been asking for. I can't wait for these. Yeah, Terminator fans are it's Christmas for them. My goodness, they're getting everything. Personally, the T800 clean version is a must-have from InArt. Well, I mean, you're going to get the best of both worlds by the sound, which is really cool. As I said, I'm a big fan of that, giving people the swap out parts, like with the John Wick Chapter 1. You can have the turtleneck, you can have the shirt, or you can buy both to have both looks. Like, I always think it's good to have those options. It's another one that I think a lot of you are going to want to talk to me about. Christopher Reeve Superman. Finally, 2 years later, we get an update. I feel like this is one that has been in the hearts and minds of collectors for a while. So it was lovely to get an update on this figure and know it's still in progress. I think there's been some improvements to it. As I said before, when I saw some photos comparing the original to now, I definitely feel like some of the body proportions of the Superman figure have improved. We've got this Clark Kent. I do love that you have this option to have him revealing the suit. Very iconic, very cool. So that's one half of what we saw. And then the Superman himself, again, this is where I wish some of the InArt display had a bit more space between it, because there wasn't really any front-on shots of the Superman that I was able to find, at least. Everything was kind of side-on because he was behind Wonder Woman. But I'm still looking at this, and I think the likeness has improved from what we saw in 2023. As I said, I feel like the body's looking better. Some people seem to be upset about the Superman emblem. I can't remember exactly why. I'm not an accuracy person, so these are not the things that I remember. I think this looks nice. Interesting that they're using crotch grabbers now. But hopefully this has flight stand. I think people want that. I don't know whether that would be a similar mechanism to the Cavill Superman, where it plugs into the back or not. Time will tell. And this is the thing, because we don't get a sense either of the accessories and what they might come with. Like, at least with the things we hadn't seen from Hot Toys, we did get a bit of a sense of the accessories, whereas with these InArt figures, it's a little bit of a guessing game. And I guess they are prototypes. They're still probably working out what are they going to come with. Will Clark come with some kind of a phone booth diorama? I think that would be really cool. I think a lot of people would like a phone booth diorama. And I thought what they did with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker stair diorama was really cool, where they had part of it was the sort of 3D steps, but then part of it was just a bit of a flat backdrop that gave you the illusion of the rest of the staircase. Like, I thought that was really clever. So I'm not sure if there's something like that they can do with the phone booth, but I think that would be really cool. Dark Knight Archive says the T1 endoskeleton is bulkier than the T2. Okay, I believe Arnold was a bit more muscular in T1 and the endo was modeled to mirror his larger frame. I did not know that. Deadpool Red Suit Superman looks very good. He does. He looks great. Anthony says Reeve Superman Kent is a dopo for me. Figurecraft says, after Joker Gate, I think I lost confidence in their magnets. I mean, look at Legolas, doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I find it quite interesting when people, I think in the early days, were asking them to have both, like have the magnets, but then give us a sort of crotch grabber that we can use if we choose to. They seemed very defiant in not wanting to move away from the magnets. Whereas now it seems to be like the magnets are not really top of mind for them. Because when we saw that influencer video of Wonder Woman, I did find the hook they were using for the crotch grabber seemed very, I don't know, it just seemed very weird. And I did wonder if that might scratch the silicone of the Wonder Woman figure. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is there. Like, I don't get why you can't offer both, or maybe is there an ability to incorporate, like, in addition to the magnets, like maybe like a foot peg mechanism to kind of double down, like have a removable piece from the base or something like that, so you can cover it up if you don't want to use it, but it's there if you do. Why not? Like, surely something like that's not all that tricky, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, I never used the magnetic base for my Joker because by the time I got it, other people I knew had it for a few months and they had the leaning issues, and I didn't want to deal with that. Valkyrie says, 16 years ago, I missed out on the Hot Toys Crystal Reeve Superman because I wasn't a Hot Toys collector. My daughter was 1 year old back then, but this year she'll be 18 and I will get it. That's awesome. And this is what I don't get mad about 2.0s. Like, some people get very mad about the 2.0s and the new this, but that's the kind of scenario where, like, I'm happy for people. Like, if I've already got mine and someone missed out because they weren't collecting, they weren't in a financial position to buy it, like, I don't want to begrudge someone an opportunity to have something that they absolutely love and want to have. So that's awesome. I'm really glad that you're getting a chance to get a figure that's really important to you. Like even with the Dark Knight armory, like, I've got mine. Like, new people can get that chance. They missed out. They didn't know. Like, I think that's great. I've had mine for a long time and appreciate it. And now people can get a new version and have that to appreciate. So I think that's awesome. Luminaris here. Hello to you, Lumi. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, I think we all can agree that this has the potential to be quite a big one for InArt. So I'm keen to see what the final product looks like. Is it just a 2-pack? Will there be the options to get them individually? What might we get from a display perspective? Yeah. So again, I wish, or I'm hoping that in the coming weeks, we might get a bit more insights from it. And again, I haven't watched their stream to know if some of this was discussed, to get a sense of when some of this stuff might go up for PO. Like, I hope that information is coming soon, because we don't want, it's been a 2-year gap between seeing this guy. So let's give people a sense of, is it this year? Is it next year? Give us a ballpark. Give us something to work with. Rich says, I think people that are mad are 2.0 are the people who collect for profit. Possibly. Collectibles are not an investment. That's definitely not how I treat my collection, but hey, everyone will do their own thing. Figurecraft says, I think it's simple. A figure centers off mass in the middle, use magnets in the back, lower torso, and use clear acrylic poles that make an L shape so it stays behind the figure. Yeah, I feel like the Wonder Woman crotch grabber was to the side, because I feel like the leg did cover it quite well, but I just feel like the angle it was at, and given the makeup of the figure and it being a skirt and having the silicone legs, I did feel like, oh, that aggressive hook looking thing just looked like it could cause some damage to me. Dr. No says caustic plastic and JPT pop costume both do magnets very well. There's no excuse that InArt cannot do the same considering the price they charge. Well, I've heard quite good things about the J&D magnetic bases as well. Cousin Anthony, who's not here yet, he has 3 J&D Jokers with magnetic bases. And he has them posed up, and I think it's maybe just the quality of the magnets, because some people have thought the J&D bases were fully magnetic, but other people have said to me, no, like, I don't think they are. I think it's just 2 very strong magnets. But I guess the quality of them are superior to what InArt was using, and then that's kind of solved the problem. So I don't get how some companies are doing it, but then they've struggled with it. I don't quite get it. Is the cape wired? I'm not entirely sure. This one to me doesn't look like it is. And this is where I would love more of the product specs and knowing. I didn't get a chance to watch the stream that InArt did, and I don't know how much they talk about the products there. But I would hope this might be, I'm pretty sure was it the Cavill or the Current Sweat Superman? He had 2 capes. So one was a drape cape and one was a wide cape. So I would hope they would do that for this. Is it going to be a base with a flight pole? I think if it is, you definitely need to have a wide base. So I'm hoping they would give people both. I think that's what I would expect from InArt, the way they talk about their product and wanting to be a bit more premium. I would hope that it's both. Philly agrees they should provide a wide and a drape cape like Man of Steel. I'm trying to remember which Superman they did it with previously, but I hope that is the case. I hope they do that. And I feel like, did they do that with the Pattinson Batman as well? I know the Hot Toys one came with 2 capes, but I don't know if the did it? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. I'm pretty sure the Hot Toys one came with 2 capes. Please correct me if I'm wrong, people. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday to me. Dr. No says InArt are very inconsistent with the magnets they use. Yeah, I don't know. Is it something that some batches have better magnets than others? I'm not entirely sure. And then they did that rail system. I didn't really understand what that was meant to achieve. I don't know. As I say, J&D seems to be doing it well. I've not had anyone with the J&D figures complain about those bases and the magnets, so I don't really know what the issue is for InArt. Last but never least, I had to put my favourite thing at the end. Anne Hathaway Catwoman. It's a prototype. Lighting, all those things. That said, I don't know how I feel about this sculpt. And as I was kind of alluding to earlier, I don't know if it's a situation of this will look better with the mask, because to me, the way the hair is styled, slicked back, to me indicates like to be worn with the mask. So I would have really liked to have seen the mask on the sculpt. When I looked at some of these pictures, I was a bit like, is the sculpt soft? Is it the lighting? I don't know. So I'm happy to see it. They've talked about it being something that would potentially go up for pre-order this year. Is this the final thing? I don't know. But I feel like I'm intrigued. I'd love to know what this outfit is made of. I'm hoping it's something a little bit more durable than the Hot Toys 1.0, which I am constantly worried will flake. So yeah, I don't know what to think of this sculpt. As I said, I try not to jump to the conclusions, but when I first saw this, I was a bit like, oh, okay. I don't I think it's the hair that's putting me. I think if the hair was more around her face, the sculpt would look different. So I have to think that this is very much designed with having the mask on. So why it's not on, I don't know. I don't know, because I think even with the Hot Toys 2.0, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of that Catwoman, I do think the likeness looks better when the mask is on. So we have to wait and see. As I said, TWN_collection on Instagram is where these photos have come from. So thank you to them. They've got some great coverage of the event on their Instagram if you want to check it out. But I would assume this would be a pretty simple release. We can see she's got her pistol. There's not a huge deal of accessories I think you can have with Catwoman. Maybe you have, like, you know, the Hot Toys one always comes with the broken cowl. Maybe this one might come with Martha's pearls. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad to see they're finally doing something else from the Dark Knight trilogy, because it has been a big gap between the Joker to this. But yeah, I really want to know the boots and the gloves. I'm hoping they're not pleather. I'm hoping there's something a little bit more durable that will be a little bit more long-standing than the Hot Toys 1.0. Even those hands, like, do we think the gloves on the hands are material? I'm starting to wonder if they are. I wonder if the gloves are removable. Did anybody watch that stream? Did they go into any detail on this stuff, or was it just a booth tour? I really wish I'd had the time to watch their stream to know how much they shared, if anything, about these figures. I feel like, as much as it's not in focus, and maybe this is going to sound bad, the figure on the right, I feel like, is where I get the likeness a bit more. But as I said, jury's out. Jury's out. I need to see more of these. And I'm hoping InArt might post some pictures, like some photos. Like, I know they did that video, but I hope they do some high quality photos that we can see with some nice lighting conditions, so we can get a little bit more of a conclusive view on some of these figures. Anthony says, so anytime I almost bought soups on the secondary market, but I've held off because I was sure someone else would do it. I did buy the evil Superman version, though. Patience can pay, but patience can sometimes not lead there. But I have to think Christopher Reeve Superman was such a popular version of the character that someone had to do it again at some point. Mike says, I could be wrong, but I don't think she ever was in her suit without the cat ears above the brow. I think that's what it needs. I don't know. Salvatore is here. How you doing? It's better than the first time they showed her, but it still needs work. Yeah, it's improved, but I guess this is where I'm like, is it because this does look like the lighting is quite harsh. So was this flash photography? Was it under a light and display cabinet? I don't know. So this is where I'm definitely going to check out Toy Lab, who someone recommended. They said they did some video footage of the con. So maybe we can get a better look at these, because, yeah, as I said, I don't know if it's just the light's harsh. Would it look better with the mask? Is it soft like I think it might be? I'm not quite sure. Often says, I don't know what it is about InArt sculpts, but they always look like that. They are in Twilight to my eye. Really? Like the Twilight movie? Interesting. Dark Knight Archive says, I think the likeness is there, but it just needs a bit more refinement. Everything else looks great to me. I would like to have seen her with the mask on, yeah. And this is what I'm wondering. Is it that it's soft, or is it just that the light is harsh and it's blowing out some of the details? This is where I kept checking their Facebook page in case they did some official photos, because Hot Toys did post photos from their booth, which was handy, and I tried to use them for their stuff, but InArt only really posted a very quick video. And it was, yeah, very like quick cuts, and it was even hard at times to get screenshots. So I didn't really get a lot. But even the way they had this display, it was hard to get pictures of some figures without other figures in the background. So it's been a bit tricky. Keith says definitely an improvement on the first proto. Anthony says, I don't like the Hathaway sculpt. The brow is too masculine and the lower face is too mushed. No me gusta? Yeah, something's off. As I said, I just don't know if it's the lighting or something else. Dark Knight Archives, it was just a booth tour. I believe InArt said Catwoman will be going up for pre-order this year. I think we need some better pictures and maybe some more development if that's the case. Oh, it's in very pale. Okay, I got you. Very pale vampire people. Deadpool Red Suit says, InArt and Queen Studios are the same company. The Queen Studios life-size Catwoman looks amazing. Why can't InArt use the same head sculpt and shrink it down? Well, that's a great question, because this is the thing. People have talked about some of the statues that they've done of Anne and how good they've looked. So I'm kind of surprised that this has not had the same sort of instant impact or use of that. They've obviously worked on her face for a while. And, you know, it's not their first figure to be like, oh, they've still got to understand how to translate it into a smaller format. Like, they've done a few figures now. I would hope that they would know how to retool things they've done. I'm with you. I wonder if InArt will share the digital assets with Queen Studio. Queen Studio Catwoman looks great. I mean, as we've said, they're the same company, so... Oh, Lumi agrees. Their figures are very pale. I only have the Joker, and he's wearing makeup, so I don't have any of their other figures in hand to really know. That's interesting. Salvatore says, yeah, the life-size Catwoman is incredible. It is very cool. It is very cool. So this one's definitely the one I'm monitoring with the most interest. We'll see what the rest of the year brings as far as development when that comes up for pre-order and whatnot. So that's a look at all of the InArt Wonderfest. But before we go, I did have to include, we got some updates on the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. Finally, more than a photo of a silicone body, which I was very happy about. So when I watched the InArt stream, Yost did talk about the fact that the finalization of the body was required because so much of the costume was dependent on it being tailored to that final body. So now that they have settled on what the body will be, I'm hoping we'll start to get more photos like this. I'm really keen to see. I don't necessarily need progress photos all the time, but I am keen to start seeing, when possible, some images of what some of the final production pieces are, whether that's like a head sculpt, some accessories, the bases, because I'm keen to see how this figure is going to translate from all the custom artists who worked on the prototype to the final figure. So this was originally as a Q1 release, and then on the stream, Yost did say it was probably going to be late Q1 into Q2. Personally, don't rush it to get it out of the door. If you need a little bit of time to get it right, I am down with that. So here we can see a bit of the material and the stitching and the corset there. I remember Yost had said some of this, they've made some, I think they'd made some decisions around the fabric but they talked about it being very durable. So I'm hoping this is something that can have some degree of posing. I'm not going to be sitting there wanting to do extreme posing, but I would like to be able to have some movement in the figure, like potentially using the whip or something like that without fear of it cracking or flaking or falling apart. So I'm hoping some movement is possible. So I'm watching this with a lot of anticipation because I do have it on pre-order and I want it to be good. And if this is good, then I will consider their Penguin. But I did find it interesting because I know they had previously said the Catwoman had done well, and in my mind I was like, what is well? Like, what volume is well? Because in my mind I'm thinking, 10,000, and then he did say it was 4,000, and that the Penguin had only done 700, which is a big drop off from the Catwoman. Like, I think you'd be pretty confident in thinking if the Catwoman's done 4,000, the Penguin's got to be doing a couple of thousand easy. Like, people, if they're collecting Batman Returns, would you have Catwoman without the Penguin? Probably not for a lot of collectors. So I have wondered about factors that might be impacting onto that. The lack of updates on the Catwoman. I've talked about this with Costa, where the NRD for the Penguin is a lot bigger than the Catwoman figure. I personally would have preferred for this to have been released before more pre-orders went up. So I do think it's fair that people want to start seeing a bit more before they just keep laying down pre-orders. So it will be interesting to see if those numbers for their Penguin pick up once we see more of this Catwoman and once it is released. But I do have to say, I did enjoy Yost doing the stream on his channel, on his own. I feel like he could then just focus on the products and sharing those updates. Because I think sometimes those streams can fall into the, will you make this? Will you make that? What about this? What about that? So yeah, I hope he does more streams like that on his channel. I think, it's a good way for him to just communicate directly with people. So I did enjoy that stream. Mike says, if I had to guess, let's say Queen has a larger scale to make detail easier, whereas InArt is working with 6 scale. Yeah, I think the size of the canvas definitely does play a part. Deadpool Red Suit says, I have the Jazzing Catwoman on pre-order. It's looking good. Can the factory deliver? That's a big question. 100%. And this is, that's what I've been wondering the whole time. And some people think I'm very harsh and critical for saying that. But I, as I said, I think it's one thing to have a outfit handmade by G-Wiz Customs and then an outfit made by a factory in China. It's one thing to have metal claws made by, was it Full Metal Customs? Another thing to have it made in China. Same with the sculpts. Sean Dabbs and Viola aren't doing the sculpts we're buying. And I think people want to see, like, what is that drop-off? Because we've got that sense with Hot Toys and InArt as to what we perceive as the drop-off. But this is a new player in the game, so we have no baseline, we have no experience. And I think when people can see, actually know the quality's maintained, or this is the drop-off and that's within a tolerance for me, I do think that would potentially change the willingness of people to have more pre-orders with Jazz Inc. I can tell it's getting late because I'm struggling to talk. So I'm going to wrap this up soon, guys. It's been going for a couple of hours now, and it's Saturday morning. So we'll get there. Rich from She-Hulk VFX Breakdown, they mentioned it's hard to make She-Hulk look real due to her skin. It's much smoother than male, and I think the logic can apply to InArt face sculpt. Gilbert, hello Gilbert. It would be a great idea if you guys to do a live unboxing of this figure when it's out. Yeah, I think it would be. It will be interesting to see the approach that they take after the Batman 89 situation with the test batch, and then people making content, then they weren't making content, and so I hope there's been some learnings. But yeah, I agree. I just think lots of people know Yost. He's got his own social media presence. I would like to see that. I would like to see him doing, as I say, like when the pre-orders are going up, all these things, like I kind of just think do it on your own channel. If you want to have other people involved, but still do it on your own channel, or do it as a co-host thing. So if you're using something like StreamYard, you can actually have the stream going live through multiple channels at the same time. So yeah, as I say, I enjoyed that stream because I just think it was very focused. He could just speak directly to people. The questions got answered. I thought there was a lot of really interesting information that was shared. So I hope he does more of that stuff on his own. Thanks, Helen. Thank you, Valkyrie. I appreciate it. You dropped me a super chat earlier, which was super kind. Let me get the photos off the stream. It's me again. Hello, incredibly tired. Happy Saturday. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. We've gone for more than 2 hours, which I think is a fair effort for me. I don't know where little Shuri is. She's calmed down, bless her heart. But Shuri made a cameo. It's always exciting to have her there. But as I said, I'm going to do my best to get the video of the John Wick diorama up on my channel this weekend. I've just got one more panel to pick up. I've never filmed anything with LED light up. So, oh my God, let's hope I can find a way to make that work and give this thing justice because it is impressive. I had only a couple of minutes yesterday to kind of have a look at it, but I liked what I saw and I think it's a very cool diorama. So I will do my best to get that up on the channel as soon as possible, but I will be back next Friday. We've had a couple of gangbuster weeks of news. I don't know if next week's going to be a bit quiet because it's national holidays in China. Pretty sure like for the next week. So next week could be a little bit quieter, but I'll have Kane to unbox, which will be cool. And if it's a slow news week, I might even get my Topo kit bash and we can do a bit of a comparison and I can answer questions about the diorama. I might also do some interactive questions because I did have a friend suggest a few things I could ask on my stream. I was like, oh, they're cool questions. So if it's a quiet news week, I'll still be here same time next week. Appreciate everyone for coming to hang out with me as always. You guys make this so much fun and I really appreciate the insights that I get from you guys. Dark Knight Archive says this Jazzink Catwoman doesn't have a fully masked head sculpt, right? I'm pretty sure the clean version is fully masked. I think it's the rooted one that has the versions that have hair coming out. Oh, no, fully unmasked. No, sorry, I misread that. No, it doesn't. But in the stream that Yost did, he did say that they had a lot of requests for an unmasked head sculpt. So he wasn't sure if he was going to do that as just a standalone head sculpt or part as a broader Selena figure. I think it would be cool if he just did the short curly hair head sculpt for Michelle Pfeiffer or Selena. I think that would be awesome. So it sounds like he's still thinking about that. But it was quite interesting because other characters he said he was quite sure he would do, like Vicky Vale. He did say it's like, oh, if I'm only at 700 penguins, because apparently the threshold is 500. 500 is the number he needs to hit. So he was a bit like, I don't know that I can sell 500 Vicky Vales if I'm only doing 700 penguins. And I was quite surprised that he said that put the Uma Thurman Catwoman Poison Ivy in doubt for him. I would have thought there'd be quite a lot of interest in the Poison Ivy, given Hot Toys is doing, Batman, Robin, and Mr. Freeze. So I hope they still go through with it. But now they've got their Back the Build, which is like their Kickstarter platform. I'm hoping maybe for things they're not sure about, perhaps they'll do that to gauge interest because it actually makes people put their money where their mouth is. And then if they get enough, they go ahead. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do make. But he did talk about them looking at that, whether it was a sculpt or a figure was still to be determined. Dr. No, informative stream as always. Thank you, Helen, Shuri, and fellow collectors. Thank you, Dr. No. I appreciate you coming to hang out. Thanks for the stream, Helen. See you next week. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Good stream. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Often appreciate you, Keith. Helen, if you can make the unboxing video at least 30 minutes long, that would help me get me through my weekend run on the treadmill. It's funny because I was going, how long could I make the video? I'll do my best. if it's more than 5 minutes, I'll be proud of myself because it is a bit. I don't know. If you need 30 minutes, you can watch Points of Articulation from Wednesday. I was on the panel with Press X to Continue and S-Beam and 1/6 Scale Syndicate. So that's a bit more than an hour. So that's like 2 treadmill sessions. Dark Knight Archive says, great stream, Helen. Have a great weekend to you and Shuri. Stay safe and take care. You too. Jazz Inc., Kim Basinger, Vicky Vale, news has gone silent on that figure. Well, as I said, Deadpool Red Suit, Yoast mentioned her in the stream and said that they were not sure that the support would be there for that based on the on the pre-order numbers for the Penguin. So I think it'll be interesting to see if the Penguin numbers pick up. As I said, I am interested in the Mare version, but I want to see more of the Catwoman before I drop a deposit on that. So if that Catwoman comes out good, I'm then interested in the Penguin, and I think a lot of people like that. So I think if we see a positive result with the Catwoman and an uptick in the Penguin pre-orders, maybe, but then maybe that's something they do as one of their Kickstarter campaigns like the Batwing. So we'll see. I missed that. I pre-ordered the Penguin. You are one of 700, which is not a lot. I seriously, when he said Penguin was low, I was still thinking like 1,000 to 2,000 because I was thinking Catwoman would be about 10,000. I was not thinking it would be at 4,000. Feces Figures, have a good weekend all. Have a good weekend to you too, guys. I'm out of here. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Do your best to resist the FOMO, and Shuri and I will be back next weekend with Kane, with something. I don't know. See you.